Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec, and today I'm joining the Punched Out Thursday gang. That's the YouTube collaboration where a few crafty YouTubers share ideas every Thursday on what to do with all those punches collecting dust in so many scrap rooms. I'm going to put links to Ronnie's, Kathy's, and Krista's channels below, so be sure to check them out. Today's video is a layout process video. I'm going to be decorating my page with some punch art, but I'm also going to be talking about adapting punch art. Number one, how to create punch art if you don't have all the punches. And number two, how to create larger elements for a page that are inspired by punch art. Now, before starting, I've got to tell you I'm 2 weeks into 4 of having to use a really old camera. So for the first minute or so, my page is off screen, but it does correct itself, and I'm sorry about that. So anyway, on to my page. Today's layout is going to be a coordinating page for this page. The project I'll do can stand alone as a single page, but I'm going to make it to coordinate with this one. I did prepare my foundation page in advance, so I have 3 pieces of paper. I only gutted one of them, that blue one from Pink Fresh Studio, and I'm just showing you now more or less my plan. I plan to continue that film strip border across the 2 pages, then fill in the bottom 2/3. So here's the paper I'll be using. I have paper from Paper House, that's that one with the arrows you see, as well as that blue paper from Pink Fresh Studio. That one's already in my foundation page, and I gutted it and I matted my photos. So I'm showing you my photos. I have 4 small wallet size photos plus 2 other ones, and I'll be using those thickers there. So here are the punches I'll be using. I have a basket full of them, but what you really need for punch art are 3 circles, as well as that word window punch. Well, you can probably cut that out, as well as a small flower. I have a pile of scraps here that I'll be using later on, and I will put measurements for my punch art later on in the video when I do it. I'll put that on the screen, and I will put measurements for everything on the screen as I do it. The first thing I'm going to do is create this film strip border. So I'm using the Border Maker system from Creative Memories. That's the film strip punch. I punched along one side, and then I trimmed my paper at 4.5 inches, and now I'm doing the same to the other side. Now, if you do not have this system by Creative Memories, there is another thing you can do, and I'll show you that in a minute. Basically, what I did was I took a piece of paper, cut it at 5.5 inches, cut those squares out with a 3/4 inch square punch. I started in the middle, then used the punch edge as a guide up against the last square punched, and simply punched along, and that gave me those squares. Once I had done it to both sides, I trimmed a 1/4 inch off each side, and it gave me the same size border. I also showed you that blue piece of paper, and that was simply if you didn't want to punch out. You could always just punch out squares or cut out squares and adhere them on top of a border. So as you can see, I've adhered my film strip to the top of the page, and I'm filling it in with those wallet size photos. And now what I'm going to do is start filling in the bottom 2/3 of this page. I'm showing you this paper here by Paper House, and originally I planned to more or less layer it up on top of my layout, but I find there's an awful lot going on here. On this page alone, I have 6 photos, and on the coordinating page, there are 5. That, with the punch art, the journaling, and the title, I just thought it was way too much. So all I'm doing is adding a 3rd photo mat on these photos, just a narrow strip, so that I could see the colors without it being too overwhelming. And so that's all I'm doing with this color, and I'll add hints of that color elsewhere on the page, and you'll see that when I decorate my page. So I'm going to place these photos down, and then you're going to see I have 2 kind of open spaces on my page, and I'm more or less going to fill those in with a title, decorations, and journaling. It's almost like I'm color blocking here, except I'm not using chunks of paper. I'm using journaling and decorations and a title. I'm going to get out my other page here because I want to just see how it looks, and I'm having a look there especially because I want to know where to place my title. This kind of flows from one page to the next, so it's from Iceland to Ireland, and I decide to place the title in the kitty corner. So now I know my journaling is going to go in the top left. I'm creating a tag. That's a tag punch from Creative Memories. Actually, no, it's not. It's from Stampin' Up. And now what I'm going to do is add a reinforcer to this tag. So all I do for that is take a hole punch and then a 1/2-inch circle punch, and I punch around the hole, and that gives me a ring. And that just makes my tag look a lot more finished, a little bit more polished. So I'm going to trim down that tag so that it fits right in that block there. And then what I'll do is start creating my punch art. So now what I'm going to do is I'm showing you one I've already done. I've got my circle punches out as well as that word window and kind of a little flowery thing. Now I'm going to put the measurements on the screen for what I'm doing, but basically I need a large circle, 4 long strips, as well as I need another smaller circle. That's in vellum, and that's going to be my window. I just cut 1/2 a circle, and then I'm going to cut it in quarters. I cut myself a few black circles there, as well as this. That mine looks like a little cross almost, but you could use also a little flower in this case. And now what you're going to do is see me assemble the airplane. So basically I add a little bit of adhesive to the middle of the plane, basically put my vellum windows on top of it. It's always tricky adhering vellum to pieces. So the adhesive will be covered up by the nose of the plane. That's a 1/2-inch circle. Then I will adhere my wings to the plane. Anyway, you can basically see what I'm doing. You may notice I have another black circle up there. That's because I plan to back the entire thing with a circle, just in case I want to add some foam adhesive a little bit later on. It turns out that I don't, but it's always a good idea, especially when you have all of these pieces stuck to it. Just having another circle in the back kind of solidifies the entire piece. Now what you see me doing is digging into these. They're like metallic pearls, and I'm putting them in the middle of the propellers. Like I said, if you don't have what I have for the propellers, you could always use just a little flower. That would work nicely as well. Now what I'm going to do is punch out some clouds. So I happen to have a tree builder punch as well as a cupcake builder punch, and the tops of those two make perfect clouds. So I'm punching them out in white as well as in vellum. But if you don't have a tree builder punch or a cupcake builder punch, another option are circle punches, scalloped circle punches, or scalloped oval punches. You can take one of those, cut it in half, and it makes 2 really nice clouds. You can always cut out clouds by hand as well with scissors. They're just, wiggly things, very, very easy to make. So now I'm playing around with placement, and I'm doubling up some of the clouds because I do plan to put some of those on foam adhesive. So I'm adhering all of this to the page. I'm placing my title with those foam thickers at the bottom of the page, and I would like to point out that this particular kit only came with lowercase letters, and I wanted a capital letter for the word Ireland. And that's why I like working with foam thickers, because you can cut them and manipulate them very well and they don't break apart. So all I did was take the letter Q and I simply snipped off part of it, and I ended up with that stick, which was perfect for the capital I. So anyway, I liked working with that. Now I'm having 2 of the pages side by side, and I just am more or less checking to see how it looks. I want to check my visual triangle, so I have the airplanes going across the 2 pages, but I do want to repeat that color yellow. So I'm getting out these stickers from Pink Fresh Studio. That's from the Out and About collection, and there is that yellow there, but I opt not to use that, and I end up going with this small heart punch, which is always on my desk. I use that all the time. Whenever I need a little hit of color somewhere, I often go to that punch. So I end up putting that yellow heart down by my title, and then I'm thinking of putting the yellow string in my tag, but I end up going with this black string from Lawn Fawn, and that yellow heart, I end up putting a second yellow heart up in the cloud by that airplane. So that gives me a visual triangle across those 2 pages, and I'm happy with that. This is a really, really busy layout, but I really do like it. Basically, it's documenting a trip I took in my chronological album. I have separate albums for Iceland as well as Ireland, but my personal scrapbooks are almost like a personal journal, so I just wanted mention of that in my day-to-day album. So that's where these 2 pages are going to go. And off camera, I'll do my journaling. So basically, if you hang around to the end, I'm going to show you how to create that larger airplane, which is exactly the same as those smaller airplanes, just a little bit bigger. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see how I made that larger airplane, just hang on a minute and I'll show you that at the very end. Also, make sure you check out the other ladies who are participating in this YouTube hop. Their links are below. And if you haven't subscribed to Scrapbooking Quebec, I would love it if you did. So anyway, now what I'm going to do is show you how to make this airplane. So basically, I'm going to show you how to adapt punch art to a larger piece. So you can see the smaller one there, and there's the larger one. So all you have to do is take the basic shapes in the punch art and use larger shapes. So I'm showing you 2 different circle cutting systems there. The body of that airplane is 4 inches. The window is 2 3/4 inches quartered. The wings, the circles are 1 inch, the nose is 1 3/8 of an inch. And for those strips of paper, I'm just going to show you how I rounded the edge. Basically, I slip it in a circle punch from the outside and round the edge of each end. The wings at the bottom are 3/4 of an inch by 10 inch, then trimmed. And now what I'm showing you are the propellers. Now I used that flower builder punch, the one I showed you with the little X's, but if you don't have that, I'm showing you another option. This is a flower punch, and all I did was punch it out, and I'm simply trimming the petals. So when you do not have the punch that is shown to do punch art, look in your punches. All they are basic shapes. Here's another example of expanding or making punch art larger. There is a Santa Claus. I made that smaller one for Punched Out Thursday in December. There's a larger one I made in 2006. All it is circles and hearts. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, again, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Scrapbooking Quebec if you haven't already. And I appreciate all your comments and likes and all of that kind of stuff. Thank you so much and have a great day.